Good morning, everybody. It is Sunday, February the 28th, and I'm going to bring you an update video. So now you guys can see my face. I can stop the software and then restart it so I don't have to splice together pieces of video. I have some crochet to show you. I have some knitting to show you. I have some art to show you, and that's about it. Yeah, I did do a little bit of spinning, but it was on one of the drop spinners that I made, so I can show you that as well. So I'm gonna pause now, and I'm gonna go get the crochet that I'm working on. I'm gonna be flipping it back down to my desktop. Okay, I forgot to flip it. I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back. Alright, so I've been crocheting a box of bulky yarn, and I've knit 2 hats from the box as well, from the bulky yarn. And I have, let's see, one, out of all that yarn, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 skeins left. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 10 counting this one, full skeins and a partial skein. So that's 11. 10 full skeins and a partial skein. So that's 11 skeins left. Alright, so this is the hat that I'm currently working on. It's probably about 20 minutes from being away from being finished. And so yeah, so I'll go ahead and move these out of the way. So that's my work in progress. And I'm not sure which hats I showed you guys before, but I know you didn't see the 2 hats that I knit unless you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, then you've seen these. But this is that copycat hat pattern, and my lighting, it's overcast today, so let's see if I can. Okay, so now you guys can see the little flecks of color in this yarn. I put a white pom-pom on it and my little tag. But this is a super easy pattern to do. I mean, you can look at it and tell what stitches to use where and figure it out. But there is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I don't know what I did with the pattern. So yeah. Alright, so I did one, and this was the first one that I did. This black one. There you go. It's off to the side, maybe. And like I said, it's a fun hat pattern to do, and the pattern is for bulky yarn. So just look on a CC copy hat or copycat hat on Ravelry, and I'm pretty sure that you'll find that free pattern. And so then I have all these crochet beanies that I need to sew the ends in. This one isn't finished because I ran out of yarn, so I gotta figure out which yarn that has enough leftovers. Like this red color right here matches this right here, so I'll probably use the leftover of that when I make the next hat to add a couple of rows of half double crochets onto this one to finish it. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, So I got 17 hats done so far. So that's not bad. That was using half this box. So yeah. Well, actually the box was like over full of yarn. And so now I'm storing the finished objects in the box. Okay. I'm going to put this box out the way and then I'll move on to the next thing. I have to put the box up somewhere because the grandbaby, she keeps trying to sit in the box. She's like a cat. Alright, so spinning, I had some bits and pieces of fluff that I've been spinning on one of the drop spinners that I made. And so this was just like some little bits off of a skein. I wanted to see how it would spin, and it spins very nicely. And I like the colors. Let me see if you guys can. Oh, it paused. Why did it freeze? Okay, so it unfroze. Yeah. So let me see if you guys can see this color. If it'll focus. There you go. So I like the colors, and then I had like this little bit of this brown. This is fiber. Excuse me. That the baby pulled out of some bags of fiber I got up under my desk. So this is some alpaca, and it's real pretty brown. And then this is some white BFL number 3 that I got from Windswept Farms that Jana gifted me. So I'm spinning that onto this drop spindle, and it spins very nicely, if I do say so myself. I'm not sure, huh? This camera's kind of at an angle. I don't have room on my desk really to spin. So, but these drop spindles spin very well. So I'm gonna make some more of them. Like I need more drop spindles, so I'll probably be offering them on my Etsy store. I gotta put some more stuff in my Etsy now that so yeah, so that's my spinning, my crochet, my knitting. The other thing I did was I purchased some watercolor paper that is 8.5 by 12 inches, I think, to practice my coloring on. So I printed out some PDFs that I had onto this paper. This paper is supposed to be like 25% or 20% cotton. But so I printed some of these out on this paper to practice my coloring. So I'll be doing that, working on those in the next couple of weeks. So in the drawing and art, what I've been doing is I drew this a couple of weeks ago, and I colored it with coloring pencil and some watercolor for this background. Then I glued on this little strip that I had swatched out, some cheaper colored pencils that I was swatching out to see what they would look like, and then I gave them to my granddaughter. So those are the ones that she uses when she's in here with me. And if you can look at this picture, you'll see that she helped me with this picture. I didn't realize I had a pencil on my desk, and she all this stuff wasn't down there at the time. But if you can see, if I can get it to focus, there you go. You can see where she added her little squigglies to my picture. You can see it up here too. So I thought it was pretty cool. Focus, go back out. Alright. And and then she put a line in there last night. A girl, her hands, she's like a little octopus. You think you got everything out of one hand, she's already grabbing something with the other hand. But I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of there we go. We can reflectiveness to it, and that is because I added some of. There you go. Now you can see this paint right here, which was a gift from my daughter. It was a handmade watercolor, but you can see it's reflective, and so I added some of that to the paint that I did with, and I just put a light layer over some of this over here, so that it would be kind of, you can't see it real good, but yeah. So then I was swatching in my Zentangle pad, and I decided to take those swatches and put them in this book. So I took all the swatches out and glued them in here. So, and then I glued like little cards that sometimes when I was playing around with stuff to see what the color would show up from the marker, how it would show up on the card. These are artist trading cards, and I would put it there. Like, this is a piece of watercolor paper, and I was playing around with some watercolor. So this is the camel watercolors. These are the Phoenix watercolors. The camel watercolors are, to me, they are richer in pigment than the Phoenix ones. And so then these are the Faber-Castell Gold Faber pencils, which I think is their like student grade pigments. And I thought they were very rich, vibrant, where the colors are more vibrant, because I didn't have to press hard to get it to deepen the color. So like this little card right here is, you guys have probably seen it on my Instagram, but this was a card that I had some excess paint over here, and over here it has some excess paint, and I just laid the card on top of it and to pick up some of that excess paint and dragged it. And then I was looking at the card the other day because I was cleaning my desk off and I was getting ready to throw it away, and I looked at it and I was like, wait, there's a face in there. And I said, there's two faces in here. And so I took and I used colored pencil and I colored around the face, and then I highlighted those areas that interested me in the face. And then I noticed there was another face up here at the top. So I kind of, there we go. So you can see that guy right there. So I outlined some of his features. And there was like a third face showing up right there. It looked like a mouth and a chin, and I outlined that too the other day. But I thought it was real interesting how you can find, sometimes how you can just find things. I mean, because this is just so cool. I mean, you got the nose, the eye, the lips, the chin. I mean, that was just from just laying a card on top of some wet paint and dragging it through it. I thought it was pretty amazing. So, but yeah, so those were the Black Widow skin dark tones. Now, I'm a personal color, but some of these things they call skin tones, I ain't never seen before in a living human being. So I don't know who curated that set, but they were blind. That's all I got to say about that. And then these are my Derwent Lightfast colored pencils, and my Derwent Color Soft. Now, I've had these Color Soft pencils for a long time. I've had these Color Soft pencils probably about 7 or 8 years, if not longer than that. And then this, I have I realized I had the 12 set of Prismacolors, and so I swatched those out down here, and then I did like some little overlaying to see what colors I got for the violet and the green, and and then this is my Market 48 color set. I really like how creamy these are, and they have nice pigment in them. And this was my Derwent Charcoal Tinted, the 24 color ones, and they're water soluble. You really can't see those colors that well. They're just, the graphite is just, I just don't see it. I still haven't done my ink tints yet. No, these are the charcoal. That's right. These are the charcoal tinted ones. And I think that was just a waste of time, because you really can't see, other than the white charcoal ones they tinted. Now, had they had the black ones that they tinted and then tinted the white charcoal in the different colors, it would have been better. Than just, most of these are dark charcoals, and the black charcoal, gray charcoal, and those are the ones they tinted, and you really can't see these colors that's on the pencils. Like, this is supposed to be an elderberry, and I just can't really differentiate between the gray, the black, and any blue purple color that's in there. I just don't see it. So they would have been better off taking their white charcoal pencils and tinting those the colors that they wanted it to be tinted, and then having a grayscale set of just the grays, and then use the white charcoal to do all the tints like they did with these down here. That made sense to me. So then this is the graphite tints, and with the graphite tinted ones, you can actually see the colors better. Like, you see the greens, you can see the blues, you can see the dark green, you can see the juniper type colors. You can actually see the colors better with the graphite tint set than you can with the charcoal tinted set. And so this was February 25th. I was playing around with some watercolor and this blue, I guess it's ink. It might be a watercolor brush. I'm not sure because I can't read the language. But it's number 67 Indigo Cambio. And close, twist, open. And I don't know if it's an ink or if it's a watercolor. It wasn't on the packaging either, so I'm not sure. I'm going to play. It came with one of the sketch boxes. But you can see I used that pearlescent paint some more in there, and I just had fun with my little alien peacock. And then that's all the playing I've been doing with art this past week. Well, let me see. I don't think I showed you guys this, so alright. And so this is the tattoo. It's flipped backwards for me, so I hope you guys are seeing it right side up. If not, let me flip this real quick, and which is stupid because this should be seen. Guys should be seeing this right side up. But I'll flip it back because this is how my disc. No, it's flipped again. When it froze, it flipped back. So hold on. It won't let me go into the settings while it's running, so I'm gonna pause. Well, it won't let me go back into the settings to flip it back, so I don't know if that's because it froze and that's stuck or what. So this is the Inspired Coloring Tattoos, coloring to relax and free your mind. And it has like all these splotches in it. Every page has some type of splotches in it, which I didn't understand why they would do that, but hey, I didn't design this book. So you can see it has the sugar skulls, it has jaguars, a tiger, a jaguar. Like, it's like tattoos. And my husband, he started coloring these dice. I ain't never seen no green and red dice in my life, but hey. And then he colored this rose. I was trying to get him to do this to help him de-stress when he was a manager at 7-Eleven. He's no longer a manager at 7-Eleven. But it has some real nice graphics in here. Like I said, it got these paint splotches on each page. This cobra is gonna be fun. Look, there's an eyeball right there. Lots of skulls and dragons in here. There's some lotus flowers and wings. And so he colored this dragon right here. My husband colored this one. He didn't date it, so I don't know what day he did that. He didn't do the clouds or the background. This looks like wallpaper. That's a nice corfish over there. Celtic crosses, butterflies, and I guess those are supposed to be daisies or something. Snakes. And I'm pretty sure I got this off of Amazon. So I'll put a link to it in the box below. That one's pretty. Celtic knots. Oh, they should have did a unicorn. He had room to put a horn in there. Butterflies. This paper is kind of thick. Got a little bit of a shine to it, not much. Chinese mask. And then I did this flower. So this was the other picture that I colored in here. This rose. And I did this using the not the market ones. There's another tin that I had got. I should have wrote down the pencil. But it's on the back side of my snake that I did. And the snake was a combination of the markets, the and the scholar set of the Prismas. Now my Prisma scholar set is from when I was working on my bachelor's degree. That's how long I've had that. So that was from 2003 to 2006. That time frame is when I got those scholar set of Prisma colors. That's how old they are. And so we got anchors. And the color that they use for these splotches is like this really dark blue. I wish they hadn't used a color that was that dark, because other than using acrylic paint to go over it, that's the only way you're going to, you know, go over it, is with some acrylic paint. It's a weenie horse. Just like this is all the aces, right? So you got the ace of spades, ace of clubs. So you can't even color in, like if you want to color the club in green or something, if you want to do something different with the ace of hearts and the ace of diamonds, you can't color them red. You got to go over it with a red acrylic marker or pen. And I'll show you guys. But I asked my daughter if she had any acrylic paint, because I didn't want to buy a bunch of acrylic paint, and she doesn't use acrylics. She mostly does watercolors, and I think she wants to get back into doing some oil painting and stuff. But her main love is watercolor. So I'll show you guys the box of acrylic paints that she gave me when I asked her about it. I don't know if they're still any good. They dried up in the tubes. I don't know. She probably hasn't touched them since she was in college, and that was a couple years ago as well. So that is that book. Back cover with the splotches. That's the back one. I wish I could flip it for you guys. You could see it, the title and stuff, and you can see it's like got some glossy elements to the page. So those blue areas, I will have to find a metallic acrylic if it was to be like you know. So I'm gonna look on Amazon today and see if I can find a metallic acrylic. So so that is what I've been up to the past couple of weeks since the last video. Like I said, I printed out those pictures so I could practice, and it's on watercolor paper, so I can practice with watercolor and I can practice with the colored pencils. And the paper isn't very toothy. It has a light tooth on it, and it's one of those that kind of goes in lines. If I look at close up, you know, it looks like typical little watercolor paper. Just it's not very toothy, but you can hear it, that it has like some teeth to it. And I'm hoping that the ink from my printer doesn't move. I'm gonna have to test that out too. If the ink moves, then I'll just be doing watercolors on this. My laser printer, I think it's in my daughter's room. My old laser printer, laser printer, whatever you want to call it. And I think this is a office jet, so it's probably an inkjet printer. So it didn't come off on my hands when I rubbed it. So, but we'll see once I touch a little bit of water to it to see what happens. Actually, we could do that right now, can't we? Let's get one. Let's see what happens when it gets wet. This is one of my okay. Let's see what happens. It's gonna do it right here on this branch just near the edge. And I'm rubbing it hard, and it does gray out a little bit, so it does move. So yeah, so these will be practice with coloring pencils. So that's all I have to show you guys. Let me write the note to myself so I don't forget. Hold on. A little octopus just into everything. This is my daughter had some little tablets. Before COVID, she vended at several Comic Cons across the eastern United States. She vended at one that I think was the one in Philly, the one that was in DC, the local ones here in Virginia, NecoCon, and one of the others, two of the others. She would vend at the Tidewater Comic Con, and the one that we have at the library in Chesapeake. So she would vend at several, and then there's one in Florida that she vended at. I don't know how that one did. I think she did one in Georgia too, in Atlanta. But she would vend. She vended at the cons. You know, the little clay sculptures that she makes of food, her artwork, and just little odds and ends. And she had these little books made. These are some of her drawings. I think that's Totoro and the guy from Howl's Moving Castle. I can't think of his name right now. But I make a note to myself in here. I'll put it right up in here where I have my Centro info. Some things that I wanted to try. Did make a note to add link, add Amazon link to this video. Tattoo book. Alright, so that's my next thing once I do these videos. And you guys know I don't edit my videos, so what you see, what you hear is what you get. I don't have time for all that editing and stuff. I spend, since COVID started, since about May, June, I've been working from home, and I have only been, and I can count on one hand how many times I have left my house since I've been working from home. I've told you guys about the jury duty thing, right? So the first day I call, I don't have to be at jury duty, so I have to call Monday night or Tuesday night. I wrote it down. I have to call Tuesday after 6 p.m. and I guess that'll be the jury duty day for Wednesday, Thursday. I guess it'll tell you if you got to show up for jury duty. But like I said, I sent them my doctor's note for COVID. I sent me being at high risk for COVID because of my diabetes, high blood pressure, and whatnot. I sent them copies of my prescriptions, the insulins that I'm on. I'm on 2 injectable insulins, one for meals and one for at night, because for some reason my blood sugar goes up when I'm sleeping. So I have to take a slow release insulin at night while I'm sleeping. And then during the day I have an insulin I take, and I check my blood sugar before meals, and then an hour after meals I check my blood sugar, and if it's still running high I have to give myself another injection. So so I will have to take those insulin pens with me, because sometimes my pancreas does work, and when my pancreas works my sugar drops fast to the point where it affects my speech, and I break out in cold sweats, and yeah. So I have to take I have a emergency glucose pen that I have to take with me. I take it with me everywhere, because I don't know when if I've eaten something and my sugar was running high and I give myself insulin and I'm doing fine, but then my pancreas decides, hey, I'm gonna work today, I'm gonna kick out some insulin too. So now I've basically overdosed on insulin because my pancreas decided to start working and release its own insulin, or basically my body's actually accepting my insulin for that time period of that day, and my sugar starts dropping like crazy. So I have to inject myself with the glucose pen. I've had to do that once so far when it did that. But they're not gonna let me take those into the courtroom because they could be used as weapons, if especially that the one with the glucose injection, because that is a big needle. That is a heavy needle. And it hurts when you inject yourself with it. And it's not like the small needles that would bend and break real easy on my regular insulin injections. That needle is a heavy duty needle, and it could be used as a weapon. So they're going to tell me you can't take this into the courtroom. You're going to have to lock it up in one of those lockers that's outside the courtroom. I could die by the time they figure out she's having a sugar insulin issue, a health medical issue. By the time they get there, when they could have just had my glucose pen, given myself a glucose injection before I got to the point where I couldn't totally speak or reason or anything like that. I just don't understand our court systems. You got people that ain't nothing wrong with them, and you accept their doctor notes that's bogus. You don't even check into it. But then I send you my doctor's note with my doctor's contact information, and my doctor's is over at the base, and the note was dated from when I first went home, when they got the note with the COVID and everything, when they realized how it was affecting people who had pre-existing medical conditions. So it shows you when it was dated, and I told them been working from home since this date. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? But no, you are required. I'm required. And so that's the other thing that just pissed me off. I'm just gonna say it like it is. But there are people that ain't nothing wrong with them, nothing that whatsoever, that they gave them, and they're not first responders, none of that stuff. They sent a note in saying from their daughter or son saying they have to watch their grandchild, and they don't. They just want to get out of jury duty. But they get relief from jury duty. And then that's the other thing. You're supposed to be like, you're being, they go by your addresses and stuff. So you're supposed to be it's supposed to be your people who are your peers, right? Just because I live in this zip code or this address or this neighborhood doesn't mean that I'm a peer of the people who I might be going to court to be a juror for. Did you look into my educational background compared to theirs? Did you look into my voting history or any of that stuff, if that's possible, compared to theirs? I don't know what the government can do, all the stuff that they can do. Did you look into did you look into anything that had anything to do with anything other than the fact that I live in that neighborhood, to say that I'm their peer, a juror of your peers? You see what I'm saying? Are they in my age group? And the way I was raised, if you are in court, you there for a reason. If you've been pulled to court, you've been pulled to court for a reason. So what have you been doing in your life that you're sitting in a courtroom with a juror or your peers on the other side of the table? So that's how I feel about that. So I'll call on Tuesday night, and if I have to go, I have to go. I have to call out for PTO from work, so I have to use my vacation time to go to jury duty so that my paycheck isn't affected. And because, like you guys know, my husband had been out of work, so the mortgage still has to be paid and all that stuff. And it's wrong. If you're going to pull people in for jury duty, you should have to replace their pay for exactly what they missed from their job that day. It shouldn't be this nickel and diamond stuff that they do. It ain't even enough to pay for an Uber to get back and forth from home to get to court. And that's BS, in my honest opinion. when you got the government wasting trillions and millions of dollars every year for stupid stuff, and then the court system is disrupting people's lives every day, and it's not even worth it to that person. They should find, you should have to bring your pay stub with you, and they should have to calculate and replace your daily pay for you sitting in court. Alright, y'all. Take care.